The topic is simple. It's how people with less than ideal morals are winning. They're usually the people who are in the place to win. I don't know why. I don't know why, but that is, and I don't know whether or not it's true, but it's my observation. People who don't follow the rule like you and I, or people who have less than objective, I would say, morals tend to win. I don't know why. Don't ask me. I don't know why. But that seems to be the case. From big companies to smaller people, I feel like I've had this conversation in private with friends. Like, it feels like if you're the honest guy, you can't win. Like, the game is set up in a way where you have to roll in the mud, you know, with the rest of the pigs in order for you to get a head start. Because if you're just standing outside the pit and admiring everyone else in the mud and the mudslinging competition, I feel like it's so much harder for you to get ahead or even to get started in general. Because everyone, at least from my perspective, are involved in some underhanded tactics. They're doing some extra stuff. You know what I'm talking about. So for me, it feels like the honest guy never wins. It's just like the nice guy finished last. This one is the honest guy never wins. So like and this topic, it goes so, like, at least for me, it goes into it as far as, and this goes into the Drake topic as well. This goes into Drake. It goes into Uber. It goes into a lot of big companies that just, they don't follow the rules, or it's more beneficial to break the rules than it is to follow them in their cases. And even streamers, man, like, I was in shock when I learned that most of these streamers, they are botting their views. I was like, wow, there's no, that makes sense why none of us, the little guys, can't win. Because when you're trying to stream, you know what I'm saying? Like, right now I'm streaming to 0 people. Like, nobody's watching. Let me check. Streaming to 0 people, nobody's watching. But if you want to get people to watch, which is psychological, right? Me trying to be honest, like, okay, I'm not gonna buy, I'm just gonna build a core audience just from the muscle. You know what I'm saying? Just from people who wants to watch. But the viewer psychology is, if nobody is watching me, then he must not be entertaining, or he must not be talking about nothing. When that's not necessarily the case. When you're watching somebody like Neon, and apparently allegedly he bots a lot of his stream content or a lot of his streaming materials, right? When you see he got 20,000 people watching, you're more likely to go watch him because you're thinking, if he got 20,000 people watching, he must be lit. You know what I'm saying? So the game is just crooked for everybody. With everyone. We can dig into this to the I don't know too much about the Adin Ross and Drake thing or lawsuits that they got hit with, but we can get educated together and learn about what's going on. Even Adin Ross, not Adin Ross, apparently it's a epidemic of let's kick it off with this video. It's an epidemic of people just straight up, using the system in their advantage, which I have nothing wrong, which is nothing wrong with it, as long as you are being honest about what's going on. Because I think, at least for me, I'm a watcher. I watch YouTube, you know what I'm saying? I watch streams. And in my mind, when I watch these streams, I think I have the mindset that, okay, these individuals are actually lit up there. You know what I'm saying? They have 100,000 people watching them. They're the guys. You know what I'm saying? They're making the moves. They have the connections. There is no way they can't have 10,000 people watching. But then you realize it's all scams. It's all fake. Let's kick it off with this video. I'm interested in learning more about it as well. So
Kick is the greatest streaming platform in the world. It's something someone absolutely delusional would say. There's no doubt that Kick has a lot of problems with their platform. I mean, it's literally the home of the degenerates. Every month there's a new issue with Kick. I legit made a video about Kick back in late November last year, and ever since then, there has been so much that has happened. You had a streamer tell a teacher to shut the F up in a college classroom.
Bro, can you shut the fuck up? Who? What? What? You better get your big ass on, boy. You a bitch. I'm gonna shoot your chest. I'm gonna shoot your chest. Your fat ass on. You a bitch.
You had a streamer diss El Chapo.
wow.
El Chapo, and I'm El Chapo King. I will cut El Chapo's knuckle. Fuck the whole cartel. Suck my. And I'm going to Mexico next week.
And you also had numerous
The internet is not a real place sometimes, man. People think just because it's the internet, there are no real consequences outside of the internet. For real. Like, why even go to school? Like, unless this is just a prank and just walk into a random class, why even go to school to do this coonery? You can do it outside.
apex predators and weirdos get exposed on the website. I mean, there's a whole video on this one streamer named Riot LOL, and that man was basically a supervillain.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, why are they not more out is a real question. I mean, like, what time is it? You know, it's already demon hours. Wait, listen, how old are you? I'm 19.
Oh, I'm 16.
You said 18?
Yeah.
That man is crazy. That man literally needs to be locked up, if I'm being real. Now, what does all this tell you? Kick still has an obvious clout chasing problem, and it's no different than it was ever since that first video. But in today's video, I don't necessarily want to focus on the degeneracy of Kick, because there's already so many videos out there of people talking about Kick's degeneracy, and I feel like I would just be regurgitating their information, so that's really not what this video is about if a streamer's viewers are botted. Well, it's pretty simple. Number one, slow-moving chat with extremely high viewership. If somebody's stream has apparently tens of thousands of people in it, but when you look at the chat, there's only like 5 people typing, they're obviously view botting. Like, let's be real here. You're telling me out of tens of thousands of people...
But well, I know some of the reasons why, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's beneficial to bot because you get benefits from botting, right? Like, when you bot, you get sponsorships because they are looking at the botting volumes, or like them in botting, the viewership volumes, to estimate how many people is gonna view that sponsor segment and pay you based on that. It makes sense for them to bot. But like, for the fans, we're being bamboozled. And this is why I'm going to the title of everyone is scamming. Like, everybody's scamming. Like, if you're the legit guy, if you're the legit person who wants to do everything the legit way, you are losing just by having the mindset of, I'm gonna do this from the muscle. Like, I could bot the stream and have, 1,000 people watching, at least 50 people, because, I'm new and whatever. But when you have 0 people watching, it makes it harder for you to grow. Nobody is tuning in. It just takes longer. The process is harder to grind. But I think it's worth it. And it goes the same thing for artists and musicians. Like, when somebody when somebody is just a one-hit wonder, or all of a sudden, or they are an industry plant, all of a sudden they're everywhere. Like, their music is populating everywhere. Like, they're the biggest artist since sliced bread. And you're like, where did this person come from? In comparison to somebody like Russ, if you ever listen to Russ, like, who's been grinding for years, who put out one album every year, like put countless of mixtapes for years, for 10 plus years before they actually got blown up. Their audience, or the people who listens to them, they are more likely to stay because you build more of friendship with these people. Like, more of your story, you have more opportunities to share more of your stories with them, and the grind is more real in comparison to just faking it, which is also another route. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that everyone is scamming, and if you're not scamming, you need to reevaluate your position.
5 people are sitting there typing at their keyboards? Exactly. Number 2, inconsistent engagement on different platforms. Streaming is very personal, It's a one-on-one connection with you and whoever is watching your stream. And since streaming is so personal, people are more inclined to follow you on different platforms because they tend to feel like they really know you. That's why streamers have some of the best engagement on every platform that they're on, because the viewers are so loyal because they feel like they have a personal connection to that streamer. So if somebody has tens of thousands of viewers in their stream, but for some reason on other platforms, their engagement is absolutely terrible, they're most likely botting their viewership. And number 3, random spikes in viewership. Now, let's say you're just chilling watching a stream, right? You tune in, it's maybe like an hour hour or two into the stream. During that time, that person might have been at like 5,000 live viewers. Then out of nowhere, within the span of like 10 seconds, that person jumps from 5K to 100K with no rate at all, no shout out or anything, just out of nowhere. That person is most likely botting viewership, because where did this random influx of viewers just come from? Out of the freaking sky? Now those are just a few signs of somebody view botting. But to really help you guys understand the difference of real viewership and fake viewership on Kick, I'm gonna show you guys some real streamers and some fake streamers. Real streamer number one, Your Rage. Now if you don't know who Your Rage is, he is a Kick streamer who used to stream on Twitch, and he averages about 15K average viewers on Kick with a peak viewership of 29K. And if you look at his chat is pretty active. On his Twitter,
I think also the fan is delusioned. Like the typical person who's watching is sometimes delusioned. Like I watch streams, I watch some streams, and I watch streamers, and at times things do fluctuate. For example, I watch hip hop. I'm a fan of hip hop, and when the Drake and Kendrick beef happened, viewership was at an all-time high for people who stream in the hip hop realm, because people are interested in the beef. They're interested in the reporting of the beef. But, you know, that can happen. Fluctuation happens. It's just like every other market. People go to school. Like during school periods, less and less people are watching streams in comparison to a holiday. You know, more people are at home, more people are chilling, more people are likely to be watching a stream, so forth and so on, right? But the viewer is delusioned by the fact that they want consistent views. They want the person who's streaming for their channel or their stream to have tens of thousands of views every single time they go live. So I think it's just the market. The market decides that you need more people watching you in order for you to get actual real people to watch you. So the correct answer is botting.
He has about 700,000 followers with some pretty good engagement on each tweet. His Instagram also has about 700K followers. His main YouTube has 1.6 million subscribers. His Twitch has 1.5 million followers. And his Kick has 238,000 followers. And like I said, when you look at his streams, his chat is moving pretty well for the amount of people he has in there. People are typing, people are active. And when you look at other social media platforms that this man is on, the conversion rate makes sense because his viewers engage on anything he does on each and every platform. He uploads on YouTube, he gets a good amount of views. He posts a pic on IG, he gets a good amount of likes and comments. He posts a tweet, and people are engaging with the tweet. He streams, people are in the streams. There's a consistency to his engagement on each platform. He is most definitely legit. Real streamer number two, Bruce Drop Him Off. Now, if you don't know who Bruce Drop Him Off is, he is a Kick streamer who used to stream on Twitch. And on his Kick, he averages about 5,000 viewers.
Sorry, I don't care about who's a real streamer. I just want to know how they're doing it. Neon.
Now, I don't really need to do an introduction on Neon because I'm pretty sure we all know who he is. Now, Neon has 120,000 followers on Twitter, 600,000 followers on Instagram, 800,000 subs on his main YouTube channel, with 285,000 Kick followers. But for some reason, this man has a 67,000 average on Kick with a peak viewership of 110,000 viewers in the past 30 days. Now, to some people, that may seem completely normal. You know, Neon is somebody that a lot of people talk about, whether it's good or bad. His name is always in people's mouths. I mean, when you check TikTok, a lot of Neon clips do go pretty viral. Now, the reason why I think that Neon's viewership is fishy is because it doesn't make sense when you compare it to other big Kick streamers and other big Twitch streamers. Like, let's take Kai Cenat and Aiden Ross, for example. Aiden Ross goes crazy on Kick. He's the top Kick streamer. And if you look at his other social medias, you can tell that he gets some pretty good engagement. His viewers interact with everything he does on numerous platforms. And Kai Cenat, on the other hand, is one of the top Twitch streamers. And when you look at his other socials, you can tell that his viewers rock with them on all platforms. He gets some great engagement. But as you can see on this chart, somehow Neon averages more viewers than both of them. And Neon literally only has a fraction of what they have on all of his other socials. That is pretty fishy. I mean, you've probably watched a Kai Cenat stream before. You've also probably watched an Aiden Ross stream before.
I mean, everybody, I think from what I've heard, everybody knows that Neon is botting, but like, does it impact his brand? I would say no. I mean, I personally don't know the guy. I don't watch the guy. I don't partake in his streams. Of course, I see clips. That's the other thing that's been popping and moving is just clips. It's a winning formula. According
but I
to
can assure
Andrew
you that
Tate.
you've never watched a Neon stream in your entire life. Like, this viewership doesn't make sense because when you really think about it, how is Neon a bigger streamer than Kai Cenat and Aiden Ross on a platform that is smaller than Twitch? Kick's community is just a watered down Twitch community. Everyone who's on Kick was most likely on Twitch before Kick was even a thing. Even though they're two completely different platforms, the communities are pretty similar. Now, granted, Neon streams do have some pretty eye-catching guests that'll make someone want to watch, like Don Toliver, Blueface, and many other celebrities. But let's be real here. Who genuinely wants to watch a stream with Neon and Don Toliver? Nobody. Don Toliver's name does not hold that much weight to where it'll make tens of thousands of people want to watch him interact with Neon. I'd rather watch paint dry than watch a stream with Don Tolliver and Neon. There is no way that Neon is pulling 100,000 live viewers with only 120,000 followers on Twitter. It just doesn't make sense. XQC is one of the top Kick streamers, and he's not pulling anywhere near that. This man is a view-botting demon. I'm not saying that Neon has no viewers at all, because if you peep his chat does move, but there's no way that Neon has more than like 5,000 or 10,000 people watching his streams on a daily basis. And I think 10,000 is pushing it. Like, there was actually the screenshot that was going around on Twitter, and it showed that Neon had 70,000 viewers at the start of his stream. There is no way that Neon is pulling that. What's funny is that I actually caught a Neon stream for this video, and I caught this man in the act. Bro, how did this man go from 10,000 viewers to 20 minutes later having 70,000 viewers? I don't care if you say, oh, the noti went out, all that stuff. He might
But my
have posted,
question is, like, you know, there's an argument about in hip hop, like the same argument about botting, right? When an artist release an album and the label wants a certain amount of, let's say, sales per week, they go out their way and, you know, they bot the remaining sales, or they buy the remaining sales. I know these guys are big, you know what I'm saying? They're very big. They have a lot of sponsors. They have a lot of connections. I wonder if, I'm sure at the beginning, maybe he started doing it himself, but I wonder if he is largely involved and if he is the one pressing the button himself to like bot the numbers, or if it's just an associate that he doesn't know, and he sincerely doesn't know that his streams are being bought or being botted. I think that's reasonable assumption.
Story and people might have joined up. There is no way that Neon is jumping from 10,000 viewers to 70,000 live concurrent viewers within the course of 20 minutes with no special guest or anything. Just him swimming in water. Fake streamer number 2, Convi. Now, if you don't know who Convi is, he's basically one of...
I don't know who the hell that is, and I don't care. I think I was more interested into the just exploring more into the fact that, you know, all these quote unquote lit people, they're doing the dirty, man. They're and I think there's more too.
If you've been a part of the streaming community in any capacity, there's a chance you've heard word viewbotting. Viewbotting, a tactic used since the early days of streaming, involves artificially inflating a streamer's view count by adding fake viewers to boost visibility on platforms like Twitch, which will mainly...
I'll say though, I think Kai's views are real. I think. Because, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's faking their funk.
Talk about in this video. This practice helps streamers appear more popular and rank higher in their streaming category, making it easier for others to discover their content. Despite its potential benefits, viewbotting is a violation of Twitch's terms of service and can lead to a suspension or banning, and it's looked down on for obvious reasons. Nevertheless, many streamers continue to use this method without getting caught. But many do get caught, like the streamer by the name of Queen Gloria RP, who will go viral in March for accidentally showing the app she uses to viewbot, and after realizing her mistake, quickly restarts her stream in embarrassment.
LOL. I'm telling you, when I learned that people were actually botting, it blew my head up. Like, cause it's like, why? When you know you seem like larger than life online, why they need to bot? But you know, like we said before at the beginning, it's the audience. The audience care how much people are watching. The more people you have viewing, the algorithm cares. The audience cares, and it makes sense financially.
I will be right back, guys. I'll just come back in a sec. Are you guys still here? Internet went out. No, I needed to do a little, my OBS was asking me to
Cap.
reset something, and I needed to stop streaming.
Someone in the comments said, imagine having boobs and still having to viewbot, which is crazy, but he's not lying. Women basically live life on easy mode, and some folks are just down bad. Some internet detective pointed out how her ear got so red from her nervousness, which was a pretty good catch, I'm not gonna lie. Soon after, Gloria would get banned on Twitch, responding in a video saying this was her first and only time viewbotting, but the comments weren't buying it.
You can see for yourself that I had never, ever botted any stream of mine. For those 2 years that I've been streaming, always been pretty legit. Quick research told me that actually botting wasn't that difficult. That tempted me. I managed to get caught the first time and only time I do it.
Now, within the past year or so, I would see clips and situations here and there relating to the topic of viewbotting, but this specific situation led me down a rabbit hole to see how viewbotting is affecting the current state of Twitch. There have been whispers through the years from streamers like Trainwreck TV, who even before becoming a partial owner of Kick, has hinted at a good percentage of Twitch being infested with viewbots.
In the top 100, at least 90 out of 100 are not only blatantly viewbotting, but we're talking massively viewbotting. Because you can't tell at that point.
The number one botter is on Twitch. It's multiple people, actually, that are botting massively.
By massively, is this more than 20,000, 50,000?
I'd say minimum between 10 and 20,000 bots.
Now, I can't say for sure how credible this specific info is, especially coming from someone whose platform, Kick, is full of streamers who viewbot. What I can say is, where there's smoke, there's fire. In April of this year, Twitch did a massive permanent ban wave of partner streamers, many of whom have not gotten their accounts back since. A streamer by the name of Big X had a few things to say about this, as he was informed about the reasoning for these bans from his manager.
Wait. So they packed those up for botting?
Not all of them. There's a couple more. There's a couple more that I sent to my manager. Affiliate guard, partner guard. Bro, you are scamming a company.
That's what I'm about to say, bro.
Amazon.
Like
You know who switches back? You know who pays you? Amazon.
That same month, a popular streamer named Clicks revealed that he was approached by an anonymous Twitch viewbotting company to add viewbots to his stream, which he declined. The viewbot issue has gotten so bad that you have streamers beefing with each other and putting allegations on people for viewbotting. About a month or so ago, XQC accused up-and-coming streamers associated with KaiSenet like Rakai and Reggie of viewbotting, basically pointing to the quote-unquote unusual rate that their viewers were chatting, aka active chatters, which is not really the best evidence to base an accusation on, and I'll get into why later.
I don't give a fuck saying about these days. I'm not bro. Anything that I play is racket. Like
That's the other person I don't understand why he's famous. XQC. Like, I know I have an accent, but geez, this guy, he talks like a motorboat. Like what you saying, cuz? Like, relax. Like, slow down, bro. Like,
I need those like collabs. I don't know. They're all about I don't care to say. 1K, 20K overnight. Bro, I mean, I've been here before. Like, I'm not.
Some people said that 60 to 100,000 people aren't tuning into a Reggie or Rakai stream, implying that they don't have that level of emotion. I don't keep up with these two consistently, nor do I have a horse in this race, but Rakai and Reggie are closely associated with the biggest streamer on Twitch, KaiSenet, and even does collabs with him all the time. It's normal for viewership to spill over. Just look at Streamer University, for example. Some streamers who had viral clips most likely saw significant growth, like the one female streamer who went viral for being bullied by another streamer, and now she has built a following off of that, even collaborating with Agent Zero. Associating yourself with Kai leaves a lot of room for growth. It's pretty simple. Another streamer who faced viewbotting allegations recently was DDG, who has been going on a crazy run lately that I covered in a video about a month ago. The streamer accusing him is Low Tier God, whose whole argument is that there is no way that DDG could have as many subs as KaiSenet, the biggest streamer on the platform.
If you think that this nigga got 70,000 authentic subs, you're out of your mind. You don't just do this shit randomly. Bro, somebody...
I mean, DDG is pretty big, though. Like, I'm not like a fan, I would say, per se, but I've known about DDG since I was in, like, middle school. Like, I think DDG is a legit streamer, like a heavyweight. Could he be botting still? Yes, of course. Like, everybody faking their phone. Everybody's scamming.
Find me a clip from 2 months ago. Where was the sub count at? Nobody grows that fast on Twitch. 70,000. Kai averages 100,000. You gonna tell me this only what? Some thousands under Kai? Bro, this shit's botted, my nigga.
DDG responded, roasting him and denying the allegations.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I don't care enough to bot no views, brother. My real passion is music. I just come on this motherfucker. I have fun.
You gonna tell me this only what? Some thousands under Kai? Bro, this shit's botted.
You can't bot subs, you stupid. How can you bot subs? If that's the case, why the fuck don't you do it? Cause this is bad. You got 26 subs the whole time, bro. Cause you need that. I didn't need it. I had 43,000 before I touched base in Japan. And you talking about Kai, bro? Kai gifted damn near 5,000 subs. Speed gifted 5,000 subs. These my homies you trying to compare me to, bro. It's not the same. No one knows you, brother. You ain't got enough money.
One, I don't believe DDG is viewbotting, and I'm not even a fan, so you can't pull that type of shit on me. Two, DDG had a 7-day streaming event collaborating with countless rappers and popular artists. Does this nigga live under a rock or something? There's no surefire way to detect if someone is viewbotting or not. You just have to analyze things like engagement on other platforms like Instagram and Twitter. I won't use TikTok because there's so many cases of followers/viewers on TikTok not translating to other platforms. You can have 1 million followers on there, and next to nobody is keeping up with you anywhere else. Like Jack Doherty, who has been caught viewbotting on Twitch before.
Okay, Jack Doherty with the views. Look at robot views. Okay, let's see Stable Ronaldo. Whoa.
Bro had 7,000 viewers with a graveyard for a chat. You gonna tell me with a straight face that 7,000 people are sitting to watch a Jack Doherty stream in 2025, bro? Like, let's be real here. Another thing to look at is live chat engagement, like on polls, for example. Let's say a streamer has 1,000 viewers and only 100 or less of them are interacting with their poll. That could be a sign of someone viewbotting. A good example of a normal ratio of viewers interacting with the poll is iShowSpeed's poll from his YouTube stream from God knows when. As you can see, he has over 300.
Nah. iShowSpeed is lit. That dude is he's getting to it for sure. Like I've watched some of his streams. When he's like, you know, in different countries and such, he be having like 1 million people watching it on stream.
100,000 viewers, 200,000 of them voting on a poll that started 1 minute ago. Speed is so well known even outside of the internet that viewbotting wouldn't even make much sense. Another method people are now using to detect if someone is viewbotting are extensions like Twitch Enhancer, which separate viewers into categories. This method is flawed because the left number is the number that Twitch uses without the extension, and the right number are people connected to the chat, meaning about 300 people aren't connected to the chat. And this is just an example. This doesn't mean that these viewers are 100% viewbots. Either they have the stream open without the chat open, or they're waiting on a specific screen without being logged in. This specific screenshot seems like a normal ratio for viewers on Twitch, as if you have enough viewers, your stream will get pushed to all types of people. As for the future, I often ask myself, will this ever really stop? Despite letting users report a streamer for quote-unquote viewership tampering, I'm still reluctant to believe that Twitch will actually do anything significant. This is a good start, but not enough. Twitch may continue letting certain creators roam free based on the revenue/engagement they're bringing to the platform. Similar to how in the past, they let those hot tub streamers continue to operate on their platform, despite it being against their TOS. Anyone remember this? Yeah, wild times. As long as you're making Twitch money, plus depending on who you are, they'll turn a blind eye to it. I don't want to keep citing Trainwrecks as a source, but he claims that the Twitch CEO Dan Clancy is completely aware of the site's viewbotting problem and warns that if Twitch doesn't do anything to stop it, there'll be an industry-wide adpocalypse. Similar to what happened on YouTube around 2016-17, which led to a lot of policy changes on the platform, with creators getting paid significantly less from advertisers based on...
I don't know. I think I don't know if the answer is for them to solve it, because that's how these platforms make money as well. The more people that appears to be watching streams or who are in the platform. There's another scam that occurred. I don't remember what the company is, but this company, they sold they sold the platform that they own, they created, to a bigger company. And I don't want to get this wrong. And I think they sold the company actually to Chase. They sold their company to Chase Bank, and when Chase went to validate the customers or validate the data, because most of the time what they're doing is they're buying data. They're buying the customer base. They're not really interested in the application. But this company had grown so quickly that Chase acquired them. But it turned out it was all a scam. Because we all care about how many people are on the platform. I think this is it. When investors are looking at funding your startup, they care about how many purchases have already occurred, how many people are already registered, how many people signed up for your newsletter. All these numbers matter because they understand your reach. And the same thing for Twitch. Twitch is incentivized not to block or to remove botting because it increases the amount of people that they have on their platform. So when Amazon is trying to recruit new people to advertise on Twitch, they show those numbers. They show how many people watch a stream every month or every day. And they are incentivized to keep the botting going. But anyways, long story short, this is the story. We're not going to really go into it. But all these big people are scamming. Yeah. This is basically the story. The company promoted itself as a way for financially needy students to obtain more aid faster in return for a few $100s in fees. Blah, 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 blah. JP Morgan executive testified that Javis told them she had more than 4 million clients and would have about 10 million by year's end. But it turned out there were only about 300,000 customers. See, when you are selling a product that is attached to having more and more and more and more people, more and more and more data, you are incentivized to fake the funk, to just lie about how many viewers you have and how many people are actually watching. It all makes sense. It's not personal, it's business. It's not personal, it's business. And I think this is where the Drake and Adin Ross thing comes in. I don't really know too much about it. Let's see if we can find a very quick view on it. Somebody who's breaking it down, because all these people are scamming, bro. They're all faking their funk because it's incentivized for them to do so. Let's watch this dude talk about I know this is gonna be hella biased because academics is notorious for licking Drake off. But I don't know too much about the story. Let's see what happened.
There's not much for me to talk about with it. People have incorrectly said that I'm involved in this lawsuit. I'm not. I obviously love steak. It's a great place. But the news came down that Drake, Adin Ross are being sued, and they're being sued in what's hoping to be a class action lawsuit. Again, I'm not going to go through every single thing, but I'm going to give you my thoughts about it. I'll tell you what the allegations are. They're saying that Drake has used gambling on stake to bot his music through illegal and illicit means, and that him and Adin Ross transfer money in non-regulated ways. And essentially, I'll just read this. The federal class action lawsuit, as reviewed by Complex, was filed in Virginia. It claims the website is operating one of the largest and most profitable legal casinos, at least since 2022. These are the plaintiffs. There's two women. One of them that I seen filed for bankruptcy not too long ago, and Tiffany Hines. They allege that stake misleads consumers while allowing real money wagering disguised as virtual currency play. Now, the odd part about this is that both plaintiffs don't seem to be. I read the whole lawsuit. They don't even allege in the lawsuit that they have played on stake and they have lost money. I didn't see that at all. There's no anecdotes about, oh, this is how I was taking advantage.
Okay. Honestly, I know he's gonna lick their balls. Let's skip a little bit. But like, what does the plaintiff matter? Like, are there any facts to prove that they're actually botting? I don't know.
For Drake's music. All right. This is where it gets a little bit loopy, right? If they were just saying, yo, well, we want to know, are you gambling with your real money on stake, right? Okay, fine. Maybe that's a question you could ask, and I don't know. I don't know if courts answer that question or not. Which, you know, from everything I know, and this is just my personal knowledge, Drake has a contract with stake. They give him a certain amount of money. He then uses that money and he gambles a portion of it. If he wins, he keeps it. If he loses that portion of money, right? That's my understanding of it. Same with Aiden Ross. Now, this last paragraph is where I think I look into the bigger picture of what this is. This isn't like some person who said, yo, I start gambling because of Drake and Aiden Ross and I lost all my fortune. And they made it seem to me like, you know, they were using their money and they're not using their money. That's not even this. What this ends up being is this RICO or racketeering allegation. And by the way, people keep saying Drake gets hit with a RICO. I hear y'all. This is a civil RICO. And by the way, it's a civil. Anybody can file a civil RICO. This last paragraph is confusing. So at first they're saying, oh, well, we're skeptical about stake. All right, whatever. Then the last part is saying that they believe that Drake is using stake as like some back channel, dark web type of place to bot his own music through payments through other things for fake streams. That's where I feel we're headed towards cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs land. It's kind of ridiculous. By the way, if anyone...
Why is that ridiculous? I mean, Academics is the same person that says that, and I watch Academics, like, because I'm a hip hop fan. I like hip hop. He'll defend Drake to no ends. Like, why couldn't Drake be botting? Even if Drake is not doing it by himself, like we were going through the entire stream, he is incentivized to bot. Just like they were saying Kendrick was botting, Drake is incentivized to bot as well, because that's how business works. The more people you have watching this stream right now, the more advertisers are looking like, oh man, we can present ourselves to 10,000 people watching live. And the same thing for Drake. Like, the more people he has listening to his music, the more the stream numbers look good, the more money he makes from streaming, and the more money he makes from advertisement, so forth and so on. He is incentivized to bot. Even if he doesn't do it by himself, like he clicks on his phone and he says, bot this, his group, his company, the people that work for him, they know that botting helps them.
When it's served in this lawsuit, I believe it will get thrown out immediately. There's not much claims here. Now, here's a bigger picture for me. I've looked at both of the plaintiffs, LaShawn Ridley and Tiffany Hines. I can't even see how they're that connected to this particular, to even gambling, or to even the music business at all. What this seems to me, because the second lawyer on this is a really high-powered lawyer, it seems like somebody's funding, and I want you guys to listen to me, somebody's funding this in hopes of trying to disrupt, harass, or possibly later try to get information about Drake. It's kind of the same thing. Remember when I said I did the Rock Nation deposition, and then they were really keen on asking me, so has Drake ever sent you money for music? And I'm like, Drake has never sent me money at all. But they kept asking certain things that was deviating away from the main topic that why we were there, which was Meg Thee Stallion and Milagro Cooper. Didn't I tell you that there were people that showed up in Australia, you know, trying to look for certain individuals, that they were asking some of these questions? Again, it's not about that particular inquiry or probe. I'm trying to speak to where this is coming from. All signs to me say that, you know, between Universal Music Group, who I believe are incentivized to launch a counterattack, even though, you know, recently they did get a win in court with the lawsuit getting dismissed, launch a counter, initiative against Drake. But that kind of falls flat on his face, because Universal wouldn't accuse Drake of botting his streams. You know why? Universal also benefits from Drake's streams. And if you accuse Drake of botting his streams, you basically accuse Spotify for paying out money they should have not. Spotify is a public company. That's a problem. So that takes Universal out of there, right? So at first,
let me tell you a quick story. And I was 19 years old. I won't disclose the company name, but you know, if somebody's watching this, I'm sure they can find it. I don't work there anymore, so I don't care. I worked there for like a year and a half. I used to work for a company. What they do is they are involved in data. And this was during the pandemic when gathering data was very important to know. Like they do specifically count people. They count people that goes in and out of stores. They count people who are in queues. Like when you are at a cash register, if you look up, not all companies use it, of course. Like, or when you are entering a store, if you look up, you are likely to see a camera at the front door. What those cameras are doing, they are watching people. Actually, we can look at those. They are watching the people. Everyone that comes in, it gets counted. Every child that comes in, it counts a child, 2 grown up, whatever. And companies use that data for conversion purposes, right? And even publicly traded companies are using that technology because they want to know if 10 people walked in, how many of that 10 people actually purchased something. So they can use that data to say, this is how well our sales team are converting every single person that walked in. Like if you walked in, did you buy something? How much did you buy? When you are in line, when you go out to check out, when you are checking out, how long did it take for you to check out? Are the lines really ridiculous during the holidays, or what's the efficiency rate? Good. Long story short, even though that company is paid for providing, real and good data, technology failed. We all know that. We all know technology has flaws and so forth and so on. But the company, let's just say a big box store that we were providing this data for, you know what they wanted? They don't want the real data. They don't want the real image of how things are actually doing. They want something to be in line. Let's just say in line. They want the data to follow trends, okay? They want a straight line. They don't want to see that, okay, they had like a big spike during the holidays and then it dropped. You are getting 1,000 less person walking into the store every month. They don't want that. So even though this is very illegal for publicly traded companies to manage to massage the data, what the company I worked for had to do was do exactly that. They had to, every time a camera stopped working, let's say a camera went down over the weekend, we still had to present them with data because, they use that data to do conversion and present to shareholders and so forth and so on. We still had to use the previous month or use the previous days, do a little magic, spitball, wash our hands, do a little magic just to give them a number, even though that number is not real. We just created it just based on past historical data. You can say, okay, that's cool, but that data is fake. And we do that for months and months. Not we. The company I worked for did that for months and months. So I'm not surprised. Like Universal or whatever company that are public, Spotify or whatever, they are incentivized to continue providing data that goes in a straight line, maybe a slight downturn with a big bump. And then it reverts back to being, a straight line. Because those numbers matter for their bottom lines, even if it's not real, even if it's fake. If I, like as an investor, when I'm watching these companies, right, report their data, a lot of the times you gotta do like, okay, 20%. I assume automatically 20% of this data might be fake or might be massaged or added to look good. Even if they are publicly traded, although it's illegal. Companies are doing that. I'm just saying, that's the thing.
First, I'm like, well, maybe it's Universal trying to clap back at Drake because Drake's suing them. But I got to take them out of there because why? Universal wouldn't accuse their own artists of botting. They're going to deny botting all over. Why? They have benefited from it. It's like if I'm the beneficiary of a scam, the worst thing I could do.
That's not true. What I just explained is exactly that. The companies we're providing that data for or that data to, they know some of the data was fake. They know some of the data was massaged. They know some of the data was just made up. Even on the calls, they won't come outright and say, okay, massage this data. They would say something like, well, we still need you to provide data for this week, even though the camera is not working. What does that say? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody is scamming. Everybody, they're specifically saying, hey, we are paying you to provide us this service, and we're gonna need that service regardless on how you get us that service. So Universal or whoever, right, even though they are like playing, they could be playing underhanded tactics, even though they benefit from Drake botting, that doesn't mean that they couldn't be involved in some way.
Is to admit the scam. If anything, I'm gonna just act like I don't know about the scam. I wouldn't admit or accuse someone of the scam if I benefit. So let's take Universal out of here. Who else has any type of interest in Drake's music, or maybe money that Drake's getting? Obviously, Roc Nation becomes one of those interested figures. Now, some people might be like, everything is Roc Nation. Well, we're going off actual and tangible proof. Roc Nation deposed me for a non-related case and asked me about Drake and asked me about Drake and Steak. Now we see this. Moreover, what I think is happening here, and for the people who are really excited, I think this case goes nowhere. But the main point of this is that there's a few people or players that I think are either collaborating or it's one of them. So I think this comes from Roc Nation, or this comes from a few, it's like ambulance chasers, so to speak. Like there's these companies that will wait for something to happen and they file strategic lawsuits. So in the gambling world, there are people who wait for casinos or social casinos to get to a certain size, and then they file these lawsuits hoping for, try to mount a bunch of evidence hoping for a payout. So I'm not saying this is some big conspiracy. I do think Roc Nation could have been involved because they're likely suspect at this point. But what I really think this is that this is a frequent pay me money shakedown. You basically start a class action lawsuit against these type of businesses, and usually they pay out quickly to avoid it getting too big. So that's what that is. The allegation that Drake is using these proceeds to bot his music, and they keep talking about narrative, it doesn't feel like it's just only a casino-only venture. And if you ask me, the leading suspect here is clearly Roc Nation. Okay,
that could be true.
I do see people really interested in this.
That could be true. Like we keep saying, having had the opportunity to see some of this higher level scamming from big organizations, and they know about it. I've gotten to the point of being so pessimistic about data, statistics. Having worked for a data company, I don't understand why some of this data is fake or why some of these people are botting. It's just the game.
The allegations, and by the way, most of the allegations is flat out false, right? They accuse, there's this artificial intelligence person that operates within the realm that's connected to me, that they accuse of running a company. He don't even run a company. They accuse Drake of playing on particular sites. He don't play on those sites. Their information lacks accuracy, and it's more about them trying to get more info. And I think that's what this is. I think when they asked me questions for 9 hours, they used 2 minutes of conversation from me in court, but they questioned me for 9 hours for the Meg Thee Stallion stuff. The true purpose wasn't to get, wasn't to ask me questions to get whatever, and I think it's going to get thrown out, honestly. Okay? I know you guys are waiting for some more elaborate breakdown of this. Like there's a conspiracy theory. There's not. The lawsuit, and I read it, most of the details are off, and it's making a leap in judgment to say Drake is using Steak to fuel his music career. Drake has been the most successful male artist since day one till now. Why would he need Steak to fuel that? And even if he did, we can't even see, at least visibly, from my perspective, we don't even see a Steak logo in any music-related things with him. Yeah, he has it on social media, but we don't see it in his music. So, what do you want to make of this? Again, I think this will get thrown out, give it 3 to 4 months. But obviously you guys are thirsty for some more information about it. I do want to say I'm not officially mentioning this because none of this shit here got nothing to do with me. Also, this idea that Drake got $100,000 from Drake and Aiden Ross, maybe I don't know the legality of that, but that got nothing to do with some conspiracy about Steak. The dude gave him $100,000 that you never been in a casino and they be like, yo, you got $1,000? Yo, let me hold it. I'm gonna pay you back. That's what that was. Okay? So this lawsuit doesn't make sense, and
don't worry. Either way, Drake and Aiden will be okay. You know what I'm saying? They got the high-powered lawyers. They make a lot of money. They'll be all right. But I don't hold anything past these dudes. Everything is black and white. The world we live in, unfortunately, is not black and white. If there is incentive for them to make money, they will make money. Even if it means violating the law. Because once you have all that money, guess what that means? The law plays in your favor when you are rich. You know what I'm saying? Is anything crazy gonna happen to Drake? I don't know. I don't know the details of the lawsuit. Is he completely innocent? I don't know. Is he guilty? I don't know. But you don't hold anything past these people because there is money, incentives to make more money, and all it requires is a few bots. You best believe they're gonna do it. That's just how the game works. This is the original video. This is the original video that got me into digging more into like everybody's scamming. Like I mean, I've been thought of that, but this video just brought it home.
Globally at an unprecedented rate and broken every rule along the way. The company has been illegally surveilling drivers and customers for years. They've violated local laws in dozens of countries and municipalities. They've stolen trade secrets and IP from competitors, and at the time, are secretly following journalists who have been critical of the company in an effort to blackmail them. At the center of the storm is Travis Kalanick, a brazen but brilliant CEO and founder who has, despite the mounting pressure, remained relatively unscathed. But another year passes and the wheels come off. Pun totally intended.
Stole about 14,000 confidential files.
Google sues Uber for stealing their trade secrets. The New York Times reports that Uber knowingly misled regulators about their technology. Female employees start filing sexual harassment lawsuits. A video leaks of Kalanick berating an Uber driver.
Kalanick is out entirely, at least as CEO of Uber, reportedly under pressure.
Kalanick is finally pushed out and forced to resign a few months later. Everything was lost. Or was it? Nah, let's be serious, nothing was lost. Kalanick walked away with a sweet-ass $3 billion comp package, got plenty of funding for his other companies, and is now kicking back in his $43 million Beverly Hills mansion, counting his money and laughing about it. You look around and you see this in the world time after time. The liar, the narcissist, the bully, they're not just surviving, they're thriving. They're on the covers of magazines, running billion-dollar companies, and racking up followers and influence. And meanwhile, the honest, kind, decent people, burned out, broke, invisible. If that feels backwards to you, well, it's because it kind of is. And it's not random either. In fact, there's a brutal logic to why the worst people often win in life. And in this video, we're gonna get into why. But first, a quick word from the sponsor. Now let me ask you a question.
Man, tell your sponsor to eat ass, bro.
You're not only showing good manners, you're practicing a strategy that is nurturing your development. And this way, your reputation is built on your character. You learn that doing good often leads to getting good back. And for a while, that is true. But then, things start to scale up. As we become adults, we move into larger systems. Corporations, governments, fucking TikTok. And we realize that the old rules start to break down.
You know, this is something I learned recently. You know, unfortunately, everybody got an age. And, you know, the algorithm knows you. I've been served a lot of videos because, you know, as 30 approach, things to learn about before turning 30. After a certain age, playing nice and being nice doesn't get you anywhere. Like, and people are playing underhanded tactics. Like when you go to work and you're trying to be nice to people, like there's a certain way, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to be nice, but there's a certain cap. Like when somebody step on your toes or when somebody disrespect you, the nice, you have to be able to throw it out the window and chin check them, like right away. Like don't throw anything under the rug and think it will get better. No, chin check them right away, right now, right when it happens.
The feedback loops that once rewarded virtue become distorted or lost. You see, our moral instincts were designed for small groups where harm was immediate, visible, and personal. But when you scale things up, when you add distance, complexity, and layers of abstraction, those instincts start to fail. Imagine seeing a child in front of you being forced into slave labor. You'd probably feel immediate outrage and try to do something. But now imagine that same child hidden behind global supply chains, company logos, and a sleek online storefront. Oh, and also 5,000 miles away, and your attention is not on exploitation anymore. Instead, it's on the shiny new product that's 10% off. Human attention is limited, and we can only focus on a few things at a time, usually things that we can see or people that we can talk to. So when confronted with global complexity, our minds lose track of everything. We check out mentally. It's too hard to think about the child labor in Africa or the actions of the Russian government. You just want to buy a fucking watch. This is how moral clarity gets diluted. Emotional feedback, which usually helps us sense what's right from wrong, gets lost in the infinite complexity of our modern systems. As a result, our natural ethical signals become very faint. And when they do come through, our attention shifts, not towards what's most right or wrong, but towards what's loudest and most visible. This is why the moral outrages of the day are usually completely detached from reality. More people die of coal pollution each year than all of nuclear power accidents combined across human history. Yet environmentalists are protesting nuclear reactors and not the coal plants. This is the brutal truth. In these large-scale systems, people only care about what is the loudest and commands the most attention. And by constantly being distracted by what is loud, we open the door for those who are extremely good at manipulating attention and taking advantage of inattention. The egomaniacs, the narcissists, and the tyrants. In the early 1500s, Niccolo Machiavelli...
I think even to wrap that up, it's part of the 48 laws of power, like courting attention at all costs.
Lived in a world steeped in corruption and political upheaval. Unlike today, Renaissance Italy didn't have the glossy corporate veneer of an HR department or DEI codes of conduct. It had poisonings, public executions, secret alliances, and political backstabbing. No, like actual fucking backstabbing. But despite the dangerous conditions he lived in, he wasn't just some armchair philosopher scribbling in isolation. Machiavelli was deep in the trenches, advising princes and kings. For over a decade, he served as a senior diplomat and advisor to the Florentine Republic, negotiating with popes, kings, mercenaries, basically anyone who held the reins of power. And through it all, he saw how the game was actually played. Power, he realized, didn't reward virtue. It rewarded instinct, survival, and cunning. Power didn't favor the best or most morally upright men. It favored the last one standing, usually over someone else's dead body. And so, from this brutal landscape, Machiavelli offered a conclusion that still makes people squirm. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Machiavelli pointed out something everyone saw but didn't really want to see. The higher you climbed in the rungs of power, the more amoral you had to become. And the same traits that harm you locally can potentially reward you globally.
That's the exact thing we were talking about yesterday, man. It's all a game, and you have to decide which one you're playing. Like life in general, in my opinion or perspective, life is a game. And you every day, you have to decide which one you're playing, which one is in your favor, which one, people who are high up in corporations, I don't really believe what they say at face value because I've encountered a lot of them. I go to a lot of networking events. Nobody lies more than people who are in networking events. They're selling you false promises. They're giving you they are giving you their cards in order to form a connection. Like, hey, let's get together and grab coffee, but they never reply. Or every time you hit them up to grab that coffee, they're busy. It's all lies. It's all false. It's all make-believe. They're making all this shit up. These people, they're lying on purpose. And that's for a reason. That's just their game. They're just building facade.
Of course, nobody liked hearing this, so they killed Machiavelli and tortured him until he gave up names. No, just kidding. He actually had a stomach virus. Anyway, as Nietzsche later put it, terribleness is part of greatness. Let us not deceive ourselves. So I'd like to take a moment and discuss some of these traits that make you a horrible person to your friends and family, but actually might make you a billionaire or prime minister if you play your cards right. In psychology, they've identified 3 of these strategic personalities. Together, they're called the dark triad. Machiavellianism is about strategic control, or the willingness to manipulate people and fuck with their heads. People high in Machiavellianism are willing to lie, cheat, or steal if they believe that they can get away with it. They will mislead you, create drama to benefit themselves, turn you against the people you care about, divide and conquer. Narcissism, by contrast, is fueled by self-importance and the hunger for recognition. The narcissist is self-obsessed and deluded in their own high self-regard. They believe that not only is everything about them, but everything should be about them because, look how fucking awesome they are. And finally, psychopathy is perhaps the most famous and the worst of the dark triad. It's marked by complete emotional detachment, a lack of empathy, and a really conspicuous boldness under pressure. Psychopaths don't really feel fear, the same way they don't feel love, and they accrue the costs and benefits that come with both of those. In a brutal and competitive environment, this can look like clarity and focus, even strength. Think about Steve Jobs. He wasn't a psychopath in a clinical sense, but he was certainly somebody who embodied a lot of psychopathic traits in business. He fired people for saying the wrong thing in a meeting. He exploded at employees for even the most minor of mistakes. He ridiculed other people's ideas regularly.
I already fired you! Why are you still here?
A former Apple employee once recalled, he didn't want to just win, he wanted to crush you. And then he acted like it was your fault. Each of these traits reflects a
those people, though, those type of people, the type A type of personality people who have to be seen at all costs, the way you crush them is by not paying them any attention. I have worked with a few of these people. The way you win is not by paying them any attention. They can kick and scream like a toddler. Just don't pay them no mind. Don't respond. Don't give them the attention that they're trying to get. And that's the best way I find to win against them. For example, if you know that is a theme that you speak in meetings and, for example, that Steve Jobs example, and you get fired for speaking in meetings, for me personally, depends on, that's a very, there's not enough information available for me to deduce how he actually was. But follow his footsteps, especially if he's the CEO, follow his footsteps. Take notes on how often he speaks. How often does he interact? Who does he give the yay to? What kind of ideas does he, because everybody has a golden child, a golden thing that they love. If Steve Jobs' thing was typography, go learn that. Go provide more details into that area. If it's UI, UX design, just lean more into that. That's how you win. Some of these people, you have to play into their ego. That's just the game that you have to play as well. You have to recognize that everybody has this ego. Everybody has some sort of narcissism in them, whether or not they're not playing into it. And somebody like Steve Jobs, who would just fire you for no reason, you have to play into his psychology. It's a game. If he's playing the game of you can't interact in this meeting or you get fired, play into his game. What does he want to hear? Just feed him what he wants to hear. I mean, of course, sometimes you gotta have feedback, so forth and so on. But anyways, I think that's just the way I play it.
Distinct psychological strategy, a way of navigating systems that are too vast, too impersonal, and too competitive for old school virtue to consistently succeed. And no, they aren't exactly healthy or moral, but in certain environments, they can be very effective. But let's start with the bad news. People high in these traits are, in fact, overrepresented in positions of power, as CEOs, politicians, and major media figures.
Made a react.
But here's the good news. They're also overrepresented in prisons, because that's basically the deal. These are the high-risk, high-reward personality traits. They help you thrive in a large, complex system, but they don't pan out well in stable ones that require cooperation, trust, or long-term emotional support. In other words, what may help you win in the jungle is what gets you exiled from the village. This is another flaw of our perception. Sure, we notice the narcissistic CEO or the egomaniacal celebrity, not because they're common, but because their rise is loud, public, and cinematic. What we don't see are the thousands and thousands of people with the same arrogance, the same disregard for social norms, who crash and burn without anyone noticing. Most narcissists don't become icons. They get fired and dumped. Most Machiavellians don't outplay the game. They get caught and banned from coming back. Most psychopaths don't build empires. They wreck their own lives and the lives of those around them. Our bias makes it so that the failure doesn't trend, only the successes. And that's how our minds get tricked, by overvaluing the few visible winners.
That is also true. I agree. A lot of the people who deals like that, like type A personality, they are often isolated wherever they're at work. And you have to, if that's you and that's the game you're playing, you have to be okay with that, because people don't want to interact with you. People don't want to deal with narcissism, especially if they see through it, and if they're not good at executing their game plan, and we are able to see through their BS and their games, they're usually isolated and exiled. Like nobody wants to partake in that game.
We start to believe that these traits work more often than they actually do. That said, even among the few who do seem to win by wielding their dark triad traits, much of the truth is still hidden. They rise through manipulation, ego, and ruthlessness, yet I would argue that these people aren't really winning. Why? Because behind closed doors, they are very likely miserable, lonely sacks of shit who fucking hate themselves and are this close to sticking their head in a plastic bag or sucking on it.
Yep, that's what I was just talking about. Like a lot of these people with that mentality or that type of personality, they're often isolated, and and unfortunately, a lot of them are in position of power, like management or position of power in general. They are allowed to make a lot of decisions, and when they're making those decisions, they know that they have the ability to basically crush you, and nobody really respects them for real, or nobody really interacts with them. Besides that, you have to respond to them because they're in power, they're your manager.
A tailpipe in their 7 Bugatti garage. But don't take my word for it, because we actually have research on this. Elizabeth Holmes was too good to be true. A supposed Stanford prodigy who dropped out to start a revolutionary biotech company, she convinced her own business professor to become her first investor. At long last, she was the female wunderkind of Silicon Valley that they had been waiting for. A brilliant, confident, and visionary woman who could finally redefine what a startup CEO and billionaire would look like. Her product was also too good to be true. It promised things that were literally
By the way, I don't remember the exact company name, but there is a new company out there who is promising to do this exact. I do know who it is. It's Oracle's CEO. His name is escaping me. Larry something Ellison. He is coming out with this exact same thing again that Elizabeth Holmes got caught and went to prison for. He is now saying that it is possible with AI, where a drop of blood can now, detect whatever disease that you are having. So look out for that.
Scientifically impossible.
I think
Holmes
is cancer.
She faked the test cases at pitch meetings, she lied about the results, and she just forced her narrative down everybody's throats. And what happened? Well, investors lined up. The media swooned, former presidents joined the board. Basically, everything held up until it didn't. After 12 years, the lie finally got out. A public journalist exposed in 2015 that Holmes and her company were, in fact, too good to be true. Now, what Holmes' story shows us, along with Kalanick's, is that success built on a dark triad personality.
But I think also, let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find the story I'm talking about. Like, I think also the media propagates those type of things. There are a lot of other people who are scamming at a much lower scale that we just simply don't know about. I'm sure there are hundreds of thousands of Elizabeth Holmes that we simply do not know about. Let me see if I can find it. There you go. I don't know if this will go into it, but.
So we're currently working on Should I step on this? Okay. All right. No. I'm not that tall. I'm not that tall. Thank you, Mr. President. One of the most exciting things we're working on, using the tools that Sam and Masa are providing, is a cancer vaccine. It's very interesting. It turns out, I'll be quick, all of our cancers, cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can do using AI, you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again, using AI in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at...
Mind you, these are the same people that were so anti-vaccine during the pandemic. But anyways, that's not my forte. But now they are leaning into because it's AI, you should get vaccinated with this AI thing because they told you so. Anyways.
Is never stable. When you treat people like tools or threats or just dirt, you don't build character, you build blind spots. In Holmes' case, it was delusions of grandeur. This is because when your identity is tied to achievement, there's no moral compass. Instead, your life's navigation system is solely driven by metrics and output. And over time, that corrodes you. This brings us to an uncomfortable truth. What gets sacrificed on the road to success at all costs isn't just trust, connection, or reputation, it's guilt. And that's where the real unraveling begins. Because here's the thing most dark triad personalities never realize. It's that chasing success without integrity doesn't just damage others, it damages themselves. And not by making them feel guilt, but rather by making them incapable of feeling guilt at all. Now, you might think a life without guilt would actually be pretty awesome, maybe even an advantage, but it's not. Psychologist Steve Stuart Williams says that guilt may have started as a simple prompt to repay social debts, but it's evolved to do much more. It's our internal alarm system, warning us that we're on the edge of self-destruction. And so this tells us why the dark triad personalities are the truly dangerous ones. It's because they're those who train themselves not to feel guilt. There's no feedback loop. There's no learning that happens from their mistakes. Because they never feel that they did something wrong, they never have to correct their actions in the future. Instead, they shut those feelings off. And sure, for a while, that might work. It might give them some confidence, some boldness, an ability to move forward without flinching. But when they finally do get caught, guilt comes crashing back. And it doesn't come alone. It comes with backup, like shame, fear, and regret. So yes, you can succeed without integrity and listening to your guilt, but you will eventually pay for it. And history and mythology are replete with examples of these sorts of cautionary tales. From Oedipus Rex to Citizen Kane, the fucking Hitler. They show that winning the global game of power often means forfeiting the local game of any connection or meeting. But there is good news. You can still win without being a sociopathic, narcissistic fuckboy. And it's actually not that hard to figure out how. At the start of the video, I talked about how rigged the system can feel, how the worst people seem to rise while good people get ignored. And I also mentioned a reframe that could help. It's understanding and accepting that morality is a localized strategy. It evolved to work in small personal networks. So naturally, when the system grows too big or too impersonal, our moral instincts can start to misfire. But that doesn't mean we throw these instincts out entirely. It means that we adapt. We get smarter about how and when to use our virtues. So the real challenge here isn't becoming like the worst people, it's learning what they get right about power and visibility without sacrificing your integrity and your fucking soul. Point number 1, empathize less. This sounds cold, but stay with me. Empathy, like morality, evolved as a local tool. It's designed to be narrow and immediate, meaning you can only truly empathize with one person at a time. And that makes sense in a tribal life. You needed to feel what your group felt, to react to the same threats, to signal loyalty to your friends and family. But empathy also has a downside. It narrows your field of vision. In contrast, think of how it feels when you confide in a friend about being hurt, and instead of validating your pain, instead of empathizing, they start defending the person who wronged you. It stings, and you feel betrayed. But ironically, that kind of perspective taking is exactly what we need in a large-scale system. What we need isn't more emotional immediacy, it's more compassion. Unlike empathy, compassion is broader. It lets you hold multiple perspectives at the same time. It shifts you out of raw emotion and into a rational discernment, exactly where you need to be when navigating complex social systems, where the stakes are high and the relationships are not always personal. Say a colleague is struggling. Empathy might have you drop everything to help them, to feel what they feel, to fix it. But compassion lets you pause. It gives you time to let your values...
That is one of, when you attend leadership training, that is one of the things that you get to learn. Like, not just compassion, but like, you're not helping people by doing the work for them. Like, instead, you are actually holding them back. Having the compassion to like guide them, review their roadblock instead helps them more further, because that's where experience comes from, by making mistakes, by doing for yourself. Instead of you doing the work for them, that's more helpful towards somebody than just, you licking their ass and doing the work for them.
Way in the decision making, to ask yourself, what's actually helpful here? What's the right amount of fucks to give? Is this even my problem? Am I perhaps enabling more of the problem? It's like watching someone fall and sink in the quicksand. Empathy immediately dives in after them. compassion goes and finds a rope. In this kind of competitive world, strategic compassion and not reactive empathy is a skill that allows you to care without being consumed, to act with integrity without losing effectiveness. In this way, you're able to adopt an aspect of the dark triad without going fully evil yourself. Number 2, stop seeking universal approval. One of the most self-destructive traits you can carry into a competitive environment is the need for constant external validation. And the tricky part, it often wears a disguise. It can look like kindness, cooperation, and humility, but underneath, it's just plain neediness. Here's an uncomfortable truth for you. Wanting everyone to like you is itself a subtle form of narcissism. It's another version of making everything in the world about yourself. Paradoxically, it is only when you find reasons that you're willing to be disliked that you will finally be able to stop living for yourself and do the right thing for the sake of doing the right thing. Number 3, learn when to speak up, even when you're uncertain. I say this because, as we talked about, the world doesn't...
That's the other thing too. Like, I mean, my focus specifically is, on how to improve yourself at work or how to improve yourself, to get to the bag. Like, you at work, you don't have to be liked. People are not gonna like you. Even if you help them, I'll speak from my experience, like as an IT person, you could be helping these people solve every single tech problem that they have, and they still don't like you and they still hate you. Like, that doesn't give you advancement. You have to learn how to say no at some point. Like, some people, they have relationship with you, especially in IT, because they can contact you directly to help you solve their problem, right? And that's their friendship and their attachment to you. And some of these people, I've learned over time that, like, I have to push them away. Like, hey, I am currently busy. I cannot leave what I'm currently working on to go help you fix your problems. Like, I have my own things that are assigned to me. Like, my life is not solely dedicated to helping you further your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you do have to push back.
Reward who's right, it usually rewards who is seen. And there's real science behind that. It's when our brains assume that the person who talks the most must be the leader. In group
Sack in the building. What's up, my boy?
Settings, we subconsciously assign power to whoever commands the floor, regardless of what they're actually saying. That means in meetings, debates, even casual conversation, the one who speaks the most often will usually walk away perceived as the most competent. And not because they had the best ideas, but because they risked the most ideas and they had the most airtime. So what does this mean for you? It means you can't afford to stay quiet. If you have ideas, fucking say it. If you disagree, voice it. Because staying silent to avoid being wrong is how you get overlooked. But speaking up is how you get seen, remembered, and respected. If you're unsure, speak anyway. Isaac Newton, the same guy who redefined physics, spent 30 years obsessed with alchemy, a fucking pseudoscience. He wrote over 1 million words on it. And the reason you never hear about this is because it was fucking stupid. Arguably, the smartest man who ever lived spent most of his adult life on a pseudoscience, and nobody remembers it or cares because his few good ideas were so great, nothing else mattered.
And that's a thing. That's a thing too, man. Like, as you grow up to be a man instead of a boy, you realize that you only need one. You only need to be right once, like, for real. Like, all these big people who've made billions of dollars, they've made countless of, like, mistakes or errors or things that they had to refine and go back to the drawing board. You only need to be one. You only need to get one. Like, all your mistakes are washed away once you get one correctly.
Lesson. One great idea will undo the damage of 1,000 bad ones. And until you speak up, you'll never know which of those ideas are the great ones. It's kind of like YouTube videos. Sometimes you gotta make 100 of them just to figure out which ones is actually worth watching. Which is why you should watch this one.
LOL.
It's pretty good.
I'm not gonna watch it, bro. But good try, though. Good try, though. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Many failed. That's interesting. Many failed businesses. Yeah, for sure, bro. Like, that's just how it goes. Even for work, for life, I think relationship, for everything. Like, doing it yourself and having the experience is so much more important than just watching somebody do it or watching somebody say it. Like, you just gotta go out there and do the shit yourself. What the fuck is this? More into the scamming area. I'm very focused into the scams right now because I live into the mindset or world where I think that, oh man, everything is peachy. Everyone is supposed to be kumbaya. Everybody is supposed to, like, you know what I'm saying, do the right thing at the right time, follow the laws and follow the rules. What do we call the people who don't follow the rules? You know what I'm saying? Criminals. But we see it over and over, like governmental people, they're not following the rules. They are criminals. Like, everybody is, like, if the line is straight, everybody is living on both sides when it benefits them. Like, so literally everybody is scamming. Am I telling you to go scam or do some shit illegal? I'm not. But, you have to decipher for yourself. Every man is out for themselves. Like, you have to find where you can, implement ways to get yourself ahead, because otherwise you won't. Like we just discussed about streaming. Like, I'm streaming to like 3 people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm streaming to 3 people. I could stream bot this shit. I could afford $50 and stream bot 50 people to watch me for the rest of the stream. You know what I'm saying? But if I don't do it, I get left behind because the more people you have watching, the more people wants to watch. So you have to decide whether or not for what it's worth. Like my part of the game, I'm not botting because in the long run, I don't think it benefits me. But if I'm just doing it just to be lit, hell yeah, I'll stream bot. Like straight up. But at this very moment that I'm at, like I'm more focused on building a loyal fan base than anything. Like people who actually wants to watch the shit that I'm saying than just having the number of people watching what I'm saying, if that makes sense. So more scams. Honey. This one has been going viral for a minute. You know what I'm saying? This is the latest one that came out. This video is super long, but you know, we can indulge in some of it, especially because it involves some technology. And these are just examples into how these companies, I have an ad blocker. What the hell? But anyways, that's just examples on how a lot of these companies are scamming you, and a lot of these people are scamming you. People who work in the freaking government, they're scamming you, telling you lies about what they're gonna do for you when they don't do it. Like your managers scamming you, they're lying to you, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, them niggas, they're all scamming you, telling you that they love you when they don't. like it's all a scamming game out here. Like everybody's scamming. Yeah, for sure. My boy in the chat said, just watch part of that today. If something is free, you are the product. No, for sure, bro. Like for sure. And it makes sense and it works for a business. Like it's the same thing, even like for me. I'm not scamming, by the way, but it's just business. Like you have to give ass to get ass. You know what I'm saying? That's like number one thing in fighting sports. Like when you are fighting, you have to get hit. Like there's no such thing as a perfect boxer. Like Terrence Crawford, Mayweather, they don't get hit that often. And the rule of the game is don't get hit that much. But to be able to hit somebody, like you have to be willing to get hit in the freaking head or in the body to hit back. So you have to be able to give shit for free. Like it's part of the game to give stuff for free. But yeah, in general, you are correct. In general, you are correct. I wish I could put the chat on the thing. I thought I did it, but I didn't. Yes, your wife is a scammer. my boy put my wife is a scammer. Yes, your wife is a scammer. Not in the sense that, you know, when you think about scammers, no. But, you know, she has her own game that she is playing as your wife. Like, and you are a scammer too because you have your own game that you are playing as her husband, if that makes sense. At least that's my perspective on it. And it doesn't have to be a lose-lose game. It's not like because she is playing her own game, that means like she's not aligned with you. She could be playing a game, her own game, but at the end, it's a game that aligns with you. You know what I'm saying? But we are humans. Everybody's playing for their own benefit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to say most. Everybody is playing for their own benefit, as long as they have a brain and the ability to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but anyways, let's get into this.
Influencers, bloggers, and virtually every player in the affiliate marketing industry. But that wasn't the full story. Over the past year, I've been digging deep into Honey's code and discovered something huge. In 2017, under the leadership of co-founders Ryan Hudson and George Ruan, Honey secretly engineered a sophisticated system designed specifically to enable this theft while hiding it from industry insiders and compliance testers. Honey achieved this by using incredibly invasive tactics to determine
I think we're going to skip through this because I've watched this during the times I wasn't streaming. So I already know a little bit of the story and I can get you up to speed. Honey is a browser extension that you use to get coupons. And this lad here figured out that Honey wasn't really for real, wasn't legit. A lot of the stuff is like, I've never used Honey because I'm also in the mindset that nothing is free. Everything costs. Like that's the number one thing. Like if you ever take any like econ class, like everything has a cost. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Like somebody inviting you out for lunch as the example, it's not free. Although they're giving you something, like they're giving you a free cup of coffee, it's for a purpose. They have a reason why they invited you to get coffee to begin with. So knowing that, I'm like, it's okay, bro. Even Amazon, like, we know Amazon to be like the lowest price everywhere, and because of its popularity and its shipping convenience, we often go there first to get the better price. When the facts are, Amazon doesn't always offer the lowest prices. But, you know, that's just what we think.
Pretty clear picture, and this is interesting. 27,000 coupons were intentionally shared by brands themselves through affiliate networks. 23,000 coupons appear to have been manually added by Honey's employees, 9,000 of which are Honey branded codes like Honey 5 or Honey 10, and the rest, well, the remaining 34,000, representing the largest portion of Honey's coupons, were sourced from users. In other words,
My boy said Honey is Shein is actual data center. Yes, I mean, you just joined the stream, but I was just showing you like before, data is the name of the game. People are buying all these companies just because they want their data. They want their user data. Like where does Shein make their money besides, you know, children sewing your clothes, right? They're selling all of that data to other companies. Like if you look at a lot of these companies' privacy policies, they are telling you that they share, even your bank, like Bank of America. If you ever read that big packet that they send you, they are telling you in black and white, like, yes, we are going to scam you, nigga. Like, stay tuned. We are going to scam you, fuck, nigga. Like, straight up. Like, we're going to take your data. We're going to share it with, you know, Chase. And Chase is going to store that data so they can send you those mail that you get to offer you this new credit card. So they can make money off of you. Like, it's all a game. Like,
we, the consumers, were what made the product work so well. Go figure. So much for scanning the entire internet for every working coupon code. The only evidence Honey did any kind of scouring comes from this DM Ryan sent me, claiming they had a full-time team digging through homepages and email lists. And they probably did, but let's be real. Having a team of people scrolling through newsletters is hardly the automated coupon harvesting machine Honey marketed itself as. In fact, I found zero evidence of automation whatsoever. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. If we look at the support notes left by Honey's developers, we can see that back in 2016, Honey was scraping coupons from at least one source. Their competitors, Retail Me Not and Coupon Follow. Of course they were. So now that we've established where Honey sourced its coupons from, let's take a further look at how Honey controlled which coupons were made available to users. If we come back to Yelta's spreadsheet and review the monetization notes left by Honey's employees, we can see that there are numerous notes proving Honey did in fact remove coupon codes at a brand's request. For example, this monetization note says, disabled Retail Me Not and non-link share coupon sources. L'Oreal family of brands do not allow user-generated codes. In other words, for this brand, Honey stopped
oh man, that just reminded me. I was reading this thing, and it's in regards of like prices, how like companies deals with pricing in general, and how like it's a game. They have different names for it. Have you ever bought something? It's called rebate. Have you ever bought something? They tell you, okay, this thing is $1,000, but if you buy it, you can fill out this rebate form, and they're gonna send you $500 back because it's $1,000, so you're getting half off. It's a scam. It's real, but it's a scam. Like there's so many processes that you have to go through in order for you to get that $500 back. Most people just give up. Like they don't. Like if in any case where a business main goal is to give you something cheaper than what it's actually worth, it's likely they're playing a game on you. It's like they're pulling a fast one over your eyes.
Scraping codes from Retail Me Not removed all user-submitted codes and kept only the codes which were directly approved by the brand on Linkshare. Now, in some cases, Honey went even further, disabling all coupon sources, only allowing one specific coupon to remain live, like this one. Only code PJ Baby allowed, removing all other codes and disabling all other coupon sources. See, now that doesn't quite align with Honey's marketing claims.
Honey will find every working code on the internet and apply the best one to your cart.
Hilariously, Ryan told me in our DMs that letting retailers give us shitty codes would, as you've seen in the public outcry, destroy the brand value proposition. George and I aren't that dumb. Well, that's certainly not supported by this evidence. In fact, the spreadsheet also reveals that Honey had a dedicated feature flag where they could disable user-submitted coupons.
But here's my thing. Like, the Honey scam has made me scratch my head so many times because I know there are other companies out there doing the same thing at different scales. Like, which is what makes it so hard. Like, people over and over, they would choose what's safe. You know what I'm saying? Like they would choose the big brands. I'm sure there are other of course there are other Retail Me Not that gives you coupons and whatnot. People always choose what's safe for most of the time. Like if you're buying two products, if you're buying this chapstick in comparison to, let's just say these two things are chapsticks, right? If you're buying these two things, one is made from a company that you know, and the other one is made from a lesser brand or smaller company, which is something that I'm experiencing now, which is why I'm reading into it. People are less likely to buy from the smaller company because it's less safe. They know less about it. Like, they are more likely to be more thorough and rigorous on how they judge it. So when a big company comes out and they put all this stuff out on YouTube, that's on purpose. When they're massively marketing their product, that's by design. You know what I'm saying? Like, to add into that grandeur of that product. Like, okay, we are this big company. We are owned by PayPal. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're backed by X venture capital. We've raised X amount of money. In the consumer mind, what that tells them is that, okay, this is a big company. I'm safe in case, because, big companies are more visible. You can see them more often. And also, this might cost more because it's from a bigger company. In comparison to this smaller company, they might be more legit. They might be selling you a product that's, better, like, for you, better for your company. They're gonna give you better service, but because they are small, they're just getting started. You don't trust them as often. They don't have as much money for marketing to convince you of their lies. It's an interesting game, and I appreciate it, honestly.
For any store, when this is set to false, users are blocked from submitting
Marketing
coupons
is
for their
king,
brand.
for sure.
You can see this in action here. Honey allows me to submit coupon codes for Under Armour, where UGC allowed is set to true, but not for Nike, where it is.
But what's your? I know marketing is king, but what's your opinion on marketing? I think you can do marketing well and still lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's evident. Some people market one way when how the business actually work is a lie, aka Honey.
Set to false. And guess what? Honey has this set to false for over 2,000 brands, virtually all of
and I think on the long run, that hurts you more than it helps you.
The service is proof that brands were secretly colluding with Honey to give users shitty deals. But this actually has less to do with the brands and more to do with the fundamental rules of affiliate marketing. And this is where Ryan's argument completely falls apart. You see, most affiliate networks have a very clear set of rules to protect brands from having their coupons leaked online, for all the reasons I highlighted in my previous video. These rules explicitly state that brands alone decide which of their coupon codes can be distributed and which ones cannot. This is not just an expectation, it's directly spelled out. Affiliate network is
let's move straight to the conclusion.
They have to confront PayPal about the system. And unless PayPal can give them a legitimate business reason for evading stand-down rules and trying to hide it from them, which I seriously doubt, I honestly think that the affiliate networks will have no choice but to terminate their partnership with Honey. They won't want to. Honey makes the networks a lot of money, but keeping them as a publisher after this, it isn't just risky, it's a potential PR disaster. The severity of the misconduct here is just too high. Even if you put aside the possibility of wire fraud charges, let's not overlook the fact that Honey has been snooping around your browser for cookies entirely unrelated to their service. I cannot stress enough how significant a privacy violation like that is. These are all factors the networks will have to weigh carefully when making their decision. Now, I'll be leaving a link below with access to the Honey files, so you can review the data yourself, and I highly encourage you to do so. I'll also include a separate, more technical video that dives deeper into my testing processes and the technical nuances of Honey's system. This should be particularly useful for security researchers, lawyers, and...
Bro, listen. Well, my boys in the chat talking about Honey. You know of this company because I used to work there. And I think I might have told you some of the stories on how they blatantly lie, which is fraudulent. And even us who worked inside that company, we knew that our actions were fraudulent, but we had no choice. I have to make a living, cut. Like, what you want me to do? Like, fire myself? Eventually, I did quit, right? But is eventually good enough? Is eventually, like, good on time? Like, internally, we all knew what we were doing was incorrect. All of the data that we were providing our clients, for the most part, not all the data, for the most part, a lot of the data was cooked up, made up. Like, but the company was still getting paid, and the people, guess what? The people who wanted that sweet data to present to their shareholders, they loved the fake data. They swallowed it up. They chew it up. No pause. Like, because the fake data makes them look good. When an investor is looking at, oh, damn, you've had 1,000 people enter the store every month for the last, 6 years. Take my money. You know what I'm saying? Take my money. And it works. Everybody is looking at pulling a fast one on everybody for the most part, especially in the corporate world. I don't know. I won't say this is the case for I won't say it's the case for private people. Private people tend to be more honest. Like, a little dude like me and a little dude like my friend and a little dude like, you know, somebody across the street or a little dude like somebody I work with, they are less likely to try to pull a fast one on you in comparison to a corporation. The corporation only cares about the bottom line, bruh. Like, during the pandemic, like, I don't want to say we, because I wasn't. The company I used to work for, and this was a big company, like, they were cooking the datas up, bro. Like, they were making it up, because who was visiting these big box stores? Nobody. But we still had to show data for that. Like, we still had to show data for people, for these ghosts. For these ghosts who were visiting these companies. Like straight up. Like, but that's just the game. Like, and that gave me visibility into that world. Into, like, companies are not always, and this is not all companies, right? Of course, some companies are more closely guarded or more closely watched. And they have to keep honest because, you know, people are looking at them like, hey, you have to be honest, bro. But other companies that are privately held, they're lying, bro. A lot of them are lying because it makes sense to lie. It makes sense to bot your stream. It makes sense to bot your Spotify listening session. It makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense to lie to you that, you know, I can, you know, boil water in under 30 seconds. It makes sense, like if I'm selling a system for that. But anyways, hold on. No story time. I can't go any deeper than that. Although I don't respect, I would say I don't have that much respect for what, you know, that company was doing or what they had us do. I still, you know, people still work there, and these people who are still working at that company, because the company still exists, they have families. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how far reach a stream go, or, you know, who might be viewing it. So I'll just keep it to the chest. But, you know, if the FBI come knocking, you best believe I'm telling. I'm telling. I'm a snitch, a rat. My tail is long, cuz. Yeah, blood. Yeah, fuck that. So. But it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. Damn, I don't know how. Like, I just set it up, but I don't know why it's not showing. Before the stream started, I tried to set up the chat on screen. But for some reason, waddle. I don't know. Let's see if let's see if I can get it back. But I think the next thing that I'm interested on that's a big scam is AI. Like, the things that we are being promised as far as like how AI works, to me, a lot of the wording to me personally feels like I'm getting scammed. It feels scamish, if I have to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't feel like, it's like a head scratcher type. Like, the amount of money we are investing or the things that we are able to get back is, and most people, you know what I'm saying, when we think of AI, most people think ChatGPT. And, you know, that's not the crux of AI. AI is so much bigger than that. When we think of AI, artificial intelligence, ChatGPT is like the most popular version of that, which is an LLM, large language model. But there are other types of AI, like the video generations that's happening on Twitter right now, like trying to declose people, creating CP, so forth and so on. That's still AI. Like, and people think that we're running really close into AI replacing us. I mean, it's gonna replace you, but not me. Not me. I'm gonna scam my way to not being replaced, because everybody else is scamming, bruh. Get with the program, okay? Get with the program. Hold on. Let's check out this video about the AI bubble. And by me saying that, by the way, like, I don't think that AI is going anywhere. Like, it's here to stay. Like, AI is here to stay. Nothing is gonna happen to it. Like, money will still be invested into it. More people will continue to code for AI, so forth and so on. It's just the promise won't be delivered upon, like, to the scale that we think that it would be.
seems that
In my
all
opinion.
anyone can talk about is the AI bubble and mass layoffs. I'm seeing a suspicious amount of, for the first time since 2008 headlines, and looking around, it seems like everyone is cutting jobs. This might just be life in an AI-first economy, and it truly is an AI-first economy we have here. I know you're already seeing the news, but there is a stupid amount of money going into this thing.
Like even talking about that, bro. Like my boy said, there's been automation before AI. Yes, AI in general is not new, which is something like everybody knows at this point. Like algorithms are not new. The AI that we have now though is new because it's generative AI, meaning that it could take a whole bunch of crap that we've provided it, mix it together, and create some new crap. Like that's what makes this AI new. Like it can create things on its own by using data that we've fed into it.
Like Nvidia recently hit an insane $5 trillion valuation. They make the chips AI models run on, and they're now worth more than the GDP of every single country except the US and China. One company making essentially a single product being worth more than, say, all of Big Pharma combined. And AI is way more than just this one company. Total global spending on AI is predicted to reach $375 billion this year. If you exclude all that investment in AI data centers and processing for 2025, GDP growth for the entire rest of the US economy was only 0.1%, according to some Harvard economists. Basically, AI is the economy now. Nothing else is even coming close. And that's all very scary because something doesn't add up with this business. It feels a little Ponzi schemey. But first, it's ad read time, because God knows we're not making any money from YouTube AdSense. Thank you, Google. Skip ahead to this timestamp if you hate me and don't want to support my work.
I don't hate you, bro. I just don't want to watch. I just don't want to watch your ad. I'm sorry.
The show. Okay, you may have seen these diagrams before. They show how AI companies are in business together. To some extent, it's simple. First, a company like Nvidia makes chips. Oracle buys those chips for $40 billion to power its data centers. Then OpenAI makes a deal with Oracle for $300 billion to use those data centers. So far, nothing weird. Except that a big chunk of those $300 billion that OpenAI gave to Oracle actually came from Nvidia in a $100 billion deal that happened just a few months ago.
No, that's facts. That's facts. That's facts. That's facts. Everything now is AI, which is part of the big scam. Like, literally, everything includes AI. Within the next, I don't say next 2-5 years, this year, we'll find toothbrushes with AI in them, like with the word AI. Way back then, like 2015, 2014, I had one of those like Philips toothbrushes that you're brushing with. It had a little separate screen on the side that was counting, how long you've been brushing your teeth for. What spot you need to brush more of. Back then, like 2015 type. And I'm sure some company somewhere is going to come out with some crap that, if that doesn't already exist, which I don't know about, like, hey, we've included AI in your toothbrush to tell you how long you've been brushing and if you need to brush longer, what spots you are missing, so forth and so on. Because it's the grab, it's the cash grab. Companies overnight are saying that they are adding AI to their package or to their software or to their product or service, and all of a sudden it skyrockets. Like you're saying, right? With the automation stuff, like if I want to, I can start saying, hey, I own a company where I sell automation and I automate with AI, which is not true. Like AI is not gonna do the automation. I'm doing the automation. Could I use AI to help me develop the automations? Yes. Does the software include some automations to help me get some of the coding correct? Yes. But AI itself is not doing the work, at least not yet, not to the point where it can do the entire workflow. And if you don't know what you're doing, AI is not gonna build the whole thing for you, like straight up. Like it'll give you guidance on where to start, but even some of those, if you're not detailed on exactly what you want and you don't understand exactly the technology that you're working on, and you don't understand, it will create all the variables and all the elements. It could have all of those, but if you don't have detailed example on the technology that you're working on, the platforms that you're working on, the connectors, so forth and so on, like the APIs that you need, you're gonna have a very, very, very hard time.
Nvidia's money comes from Oracle, Oracle's money comes from OpenAI, and OpenAI's money comes from Nvidia. Huh. Now everyone's got high revenue on the books. Everyone's stock goes up. And next month, everyone is making a new multi-billion-dollar deal, passing around what looks like the same trillion-dollar check. All the while making bigger and bigger promises to their shareholders that the line won't stop going up anytime soon. And the big three, Oracle, Nvidia, OpenAI, they're not the only ones playing this game. Everyone in AI seems to be doing this. You can swap out OpenAI for Anthropic or Google, Nvidia for AMD, and Oracle for Amazon, and the story doesn't change. But it's not that simple. That $100 billion deal we just talked about wasn't just a one-time transaction from Nvidia to OpenAI. Nvidia is now an investor in OpenAI, and also Intel, and also CoreWeave. Everyone is simultaneously investing in each other, sometimes producing hardware, sometimes providing servers, sometimes developing their own models, and sometimes doing a combination of these things. The lines are blurring as everyone is both hedging their bets by spreading their investments around while also trying to be top dog themselves. One circle overlaps with another, and another, and another, and oh my god, is this a bubble? Not according to tech CEOs.
Dario, you said that AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs and spike unemployment to 10 to 20%.
Cap.
According to everyone in the AI space, even though some of the biggest players like OpenAI...
Like I work in tech, and this conversation is a conversation that I have like literally every day, and it's draining. People wondering about, your view on AI, so forth and so on. The company I work for is fully bought into AI because it makes sending emails quicker. It makes responding to email quicker. It makes digesting a whole bunch of like useless information quicker. It does. Like AI is useful. I'm not like anti-AI. I'm just more like in the stance of what we are being marketed is not 100% factual. There's more to see. I don't want to say it's a scam fully because AI does work. We can see it work. We can see it generate video. But in terms of a corporation or an enterprise, I think AI still has a long way to go. Can it generate videos? Yes, yes, yes. Can it generate pictures? Yes, yes, yes. If I provided a prompt to create a YouTube video or create a hook for a YouTube video, can it do that? Yes, yes, yes. Is it gonna be like great? The answer to me personally is no. I have not created like an AI hook or video, and I provided with a lot of examples. Like I would use some of the people that I watch personally. I've input their video. One of the things that I do when I'm trying to come up with ideas is some of the channels that I watch, or like Alex Amosi. I would take his video, copy the link, paste it into another AI that would transcribe the whole thing, paste that transcription into ChatGPT so it can know exactly what the hell he was talking about. Take a whole bunch of other video, transcribe it, because I'm training it to do exactly what I want it to do. And then provide it with some instructions on, based on all these videos or information that I blah, 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 create a new version based on blah, 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 blah. Here's what I'm trying to do, blah, 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 blah. It's a lot of work to do it, but like, I think the level that we're at where users are using AI, would it just be like, I want to create a video about X, Y, and Z, create the script now. Like, I think those kind of prompts are blah, they're boring. They're like, AI is not at that point yet where you can have like a casual conversation where you can have good feedback. And even the feedback that you get, it's all ass-licking feedback. It's not like real feedback where it's telling you, nah, bro, you tripping. Cause you know, when you have that friend that can tell you you're tripping or keep you accountable, like, nah, bro, you tripping, cuz I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, you gotta switch that up. That's not AI. AI is gonna tell you everything is great.
Aren't profitable yet. They will be eventually, or one company will be at least. Eventually, AI will get so
Love,
good
bro,
it'll save billionaires so much on
Thanks for
labor costs
stopping
that
through.
this investment will pale in comparison. All this hype is justified because AI will take over our jobs. And that's already true, right? A lot of the layoffs we've seen recently have been because of automation and AI. Both YouTube and Amazon recently said so, except they're lying.
That's not actually true. Like, AI hasn't replaced workers yet. It's maybe changed the way they work a little bit, but we're not in a setting yet where we need less workers.
No one using AI at work is having a good time. Just recently, the Financial Times interviewed a bunch of companies about this. The executives told them AI was this great tool, so useful, and on and on. You know the spiel. Except when FT then checked with actual workers, nobody was using it. And this is consistent with the research we have on AI adoption. In one study, Gen AI failed in 95% of cases where companies tried implementing it. In another study of 25,000 Danish workers, introducing AI meant more work for about 8% of people. And in another study focusing on programmers...
That's the other thing. Like, to use AI, like, effectively, you have to learn prompt engineering. You have to be good at prompting. Like, just a single line is not good enough to provide you to the actual results that you want. And to be a good prompt engineer, you have to provide it a lot more details, which requires a lot of more time. And, you know, in that time, you could have been actually working on the thing that you're trying to work on. And in the sense of like, even in IT and technology, AI is good for creating PowerShell scripts. Awesome at that. But when you're trying to get into like more complex languages like Python and you try to create bigger things, in my opinion, it needs a little bit more work. But there are other platforms like ChatGPT, or you could use different type of technology to make to get to what you're trying to do. But I don't think it's there. I think a lot of the times you're better off starting and then bringing AI to help you troubleshoot. At least in my experience, that has been the case.
Specifically, AI made coding take 19% longer on average. And you and I know that programmers aren't the only ones cleaning up after shitty AI output. It's pretty obviously useless for most companies, and will likely only have a limited set of applications. It probably won't be this huge economic silver bullet for capitalists that will cut costs across every industry. So, why, right? Why is everyone so hyped on AI, and why are all these people being fired if AI is so useless? Because managers always want to fire people. Now, they have an excuse.
And the main reason is that the AI economy is actually driving a lot of the economic stagnation that we're seeing too. It's not avoiding it or delaying it.
AI has given companies a perfect cover to screw workers over. Even though the main story right now seems to be all these layoffs, not as many people know that we're in a period of increased rehiring. At all these tech companies, at least 5% of the workers that are fired, quote unquote, because of AI, are rehired soon after, with that number only going up. And for the rest, some of their jobs are simply put back on the market, just at a lower rate.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense for a company to let go of senior staff because they cost more.
Like at Klarna. A few videos ago, we talked about how Klarna was replacing people with AI. It turns out that was a bit of a lie. The CEO recently walked that policy back and started hiring people again. Not out of the goodness of his heart, but because AI just couldn't cut it. And he's not alone. Every company is seeing that the labor market is rough right now. Every company has told its shareholders that it was a good idea to invest in AI. But nobody is seeing good results. And that would be a problem if those two things weren't mutually beneficial. But by pretending like AI is changing everything, managers can both let people go and justify how much they've spent on this useless tech. Then they'll quietly rehire a few people and make those still on the payroll pick up the slack. Altogether, thanks to AI, jobs become more precarious and work becomes more intense. It's not replacing people, it's not making things easier, it's just making work worse. Not only are you doing 2 or 3 people's jobs when your coworkers are fired, AI needs constant babysitting, so everyone left is stuck cleaning up hallucinations and extra fingers and yellow tint. And all this boils down to the fact that managers and workers just don't see the same thing. A manager's experience.
Yeah, that's a good point too, man. Like dealing with AI, there's so many like hallucinations and false information that you have to verify for yourself, especially if it's like a very important document that you end up spending more time on making sure the data is correct than you spend actually doing work where you could have been doing research.
Experience with AI is probably that it writes a pretty damn good email. And a worker's experience with AI is getting a report with 1,000 mistakes that would not have been there if a human had typed it up. Managers don't have the expertise to differentiate between bad and good the way somebody who actually does the job can, which is why you have managers telling FT that AI is great. Meanwhile, everyone down the ladder is doing everything they can to avoid using it. Except managers are the ones who choose who gets fired. So what about this bubble then? If the main takeaway here is that AI is a front for layoffs, that still doesn't answer the question of what happens when investors catch on to how useless it is. Well, we still don't know. From what we've been able to find and from talking to experts, it seems like there isn't a unanimous consensus on the risk here. On the one hand, these convoluted financing networks and overlapping investments could mean a potential crash would be insulated from the rest of the economy and mostly affect the tech industry. After all, the major players here, like Meta, Microsoft, and Amazon, these are all big, profitable companies spending a lot on AI using cash reserves. They are wealthy enough that they could take a loss if AI turns out to be a dud, and it'd be nothing more for them than a bit of wasted money. But as time goes on, these same companies are coming up with new financing schemes that could be a lot riskier. Not for them, but for the rest of us. Meta specifically has started financing the build-out of data centers in a way I won't pretend to fully understand. In part because it's designed to be opaque, in the other part because I'm not smart like that. But essentially, Meta has created tradable securities, financial instruments, using the leases of their data centers. These securities are bought and sold, including by hedge funds that are now getting involved and taking on more debt to finance these data centers being built. There's a concern that if the company's renting out these...
It's funny. Watching this, it's so funny because it's all the same stories we keep hearing over and over, and how like finance is such a beautiful thing, such a beautiful topic or concept. And there's so many ways to like make a deal happen, or so many ways to finance and hide the numbers and hide your true intentions in what you're doing in finance. It's so beautiful, man. And I think that's why some of these companies, I mean, they have some of the smartest people like in the world working for them. And that's how they win too. They know how to take $100, make it look like 500.
These data centers don't have the revenue to pay their lease because, for example, nobody wants to spend money on AI anymore. That could ripple through this whole network and into things non-tech people have a stake in, like pensions and mutual funds. Eventually, that could mean a crash that slips into the banking sector and affects everyone, not just tech companies. This is a hypothesis that more and more people are warning about in outlets like the Financial Times, which isn't exactly a socialist zine. And none of this is being helped by OpenAI already hinting at government bailouts, or the state pushing AI aggressively into everything from bureaucracy to education, or the fact that to achieve their projected profitability, AI companies are going to need $2 trillion of revenue in less than 5 years' time. OpenAI currently loses money every single time you use ChatGPT. There is a lot riding on them reversing that trend. And if they do, it'll be because they've successfully done the thing that puts half of us out of a job. So, yeah. In the face of all this, it is clearer than ever just how important worker organizing is. This whole racket is currently being held up by hype and managers being able to fire people at will. The more we can make that impossible, the more we can guarantee that we're hired at fair wages, the more we can resist our jobs becoming executive nanny to the robot, the less this scam works. The more we get people in power who won't be blinded by Meta's quarterly reports and invite them to dinner, the less this scam works. There is nothing inevitable about AI replacing us. AI, as it is deployed in the United States, is a scam. It is a waste of time, money, electricity, and water. No reason to treat it as anything but.
Hey, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. But it's nothing new. Scamming is just part of the game. It's just the way that the world does business for the most part. At the higher level is, it is what it is. Look at Tesla and Elon Musk and his new pay package. That should make no sense. Like on how much money he's getting, like 500 billion plus. Like, I know we talked about this yesterday about how we're all fighting for resources. And, Elon Musk is the king of the hogging resources plan. I don't think he's gonna die anytime soon, but that dude, his family, I guess, will inherit it. And, the more resources that he gets, the less that are available for you and I. When the time comes, when the earth can no longer support you and I. So, anyways, I think we've made it to day two. Thank you for everyone who stopped in, who watched, sent a like, and whatnot. My goal is to try to do 15 days back to back to back to back to back to back. Let's see how that goes. Thank you for watching. I think we did what we did today. Let me see what the time is like. Let me see what we did today. Shush. 2 hours and 5 minutes. I'm okay with that. I'll take that any day than doing nothing at all. 2 hours and 5 minutes, man. Day 2. Thank you for watching. Peace.